Okay, everyone, in relation to karma. So the flexible in relation to fa in relation to karma is equator of intelligent because in relation to the next availability of sensasan, the development of Nobron is that the ricochet will actually be remeasured in relation to the prosexual because the prosexual is based upon the intensity of the delaka. Because in that way, if we can sanction the alakasi, we will reform the adafang takshasha. Because the third way of the third party is that the development of the ankasang will be remeasured in relation to the prokasol. Because in that way, if we can work out the higher, we can also consumption the category. So in that way, we can also remind ourselves into the confluence of anagata, because the majority of the understanding of life is that the doshasham of knowing that we can also instruct the artificial intelligence, then we will rehire the category, because in that way, when we do so, the percentages of its value will be united in the nation and to Sansan, the artificial intellectual intelligent, because in that way, the fifth position of the toss is the sinang of Orla. And in that way, Orla is based upon the Sonkasong of the Pikisi and Akatasai in relation to the design and also the Mikasi of law. So within that time, the infolo is the fifth position of Aura and Tosikuno into the antibacteria. Not really. The toxicin. The toxicin is based upon the biolecasan of lingu, and in that way, the chemistry will be in relation to the datasan and tokushanong in relation to pay 3. Uh, 6, 10, 2, 1, ink. So in relation to that way, the next successes in relation to the dimension of the Olanga, we will be in relation to the syntax and also the argument. So in that way, the argument is based upon the education of, what's that one? Oh, don't know. So in that way, the next development of the amnesia is that based upon the function of the heart. So, rate 2, 6, 1. Ammo. And in relation to ammo, the delicacy of the law is the institution of the third party, because in that way, the institution of this word is a third party in relation to the development of the third party. So how we will also map the condition of physics and elementation of the C position, because 1, 19, 15, 16. So new on PHPBB, my old friend, step to the stone. Well, don't know as yet, because step to stone is that a stairs to heaven or heaven's door? Don't know. So based upon that interlude of the third amount of technology, the pin out would actually be remeasured in relation to the dimension of the plexon, because in that way the dimension of the plexon is the equity of Angrasan. So in the medicine of the Ilikiki, we will PE Kasana Inanini in relation to the third amount of development and also to Santa the Tokoshongon, because in that way it is lawyer 26 P D F 5 6 10 1 10. Kevin, So in this way, the efficacy of the Mokusong is that once we have a reminder in relation to the protocol, we will map the condition of physics into the elegany or the Polokashong, because the system of law is the Inkora. Because in that way, the Inkora will actually be Balakatong in relation to the Kushanang. So in that way, the third amount of development is the other function of the protocol and to network the IPG5. The IPG5 based upon crisscross is the technique of the polyester and to develop into the skin saver. So the skin saver is based upon the intellectual copy tissue of artificial intelligence and to map the condition of mythology and the equa of total. So in this way, guitar Elvis vision attempt. So in this way, the rocker song of the steps is the Daklang of the Pakata, because in that way, the functional of the orbit is based upon the location of the law and also to the location of relaxation, because this view is Duflang. So in the Duflang, something like that, Duflang. In this way, the Duflang will actually be will be in relation to the third academics result in relation to the formulation of the prologata and also to wisdom the area of interests and to map the condition of physical, because in that way the thunderbolt will be measured in relation to Xeon and to compact the degree of a phylogratron. So in that way the next availability is the condition of mythology. Phoenix. So in that way, the physical temptation based upon the data ray is the third amount of technology to position ourselves into the amphetamine and to work out the dysfunctioning order of math condition and in relation to methadone. Methadone is occlusion of crystal meth, no, of dilution of the dark sun in relation to the third development of the solar energizer. So in that way, the solar energizer is the fifth position of the codex and to translate the data, because in that way, if we can review the television, we can also sequence into avalanche by sun and distant. So in this way, the rock to the sand will be Parakasai in relation to the casino and to perform the Blakara. So a new Dominicani of law is the Texan of data and the access point. So in that way, the access point based upon the transition, the complexity of the network will actually be executed into a formula and to become the Nickerson of law. So within the Nickerson of method, the teleport will be Mankata in relation to the fifth revision to support the copro and blast the economy. So in this way, the Pluto will gas into the gravita and the Shakunan of no gravity. So in this way, NASA, the inclusion of XT will be measured in relation to the POS and to indicate the percentages of the metal. So in that way, the car shar will actually be widened to transfer the data technology and to position itself into the ordering system of next exciton. The next exciton is based upon the nakata of its own performance and to work out the complex. So in this way, the exciton of law is the intercution of the la and to perform itself into the wisdom of truth. So in that way, the wisdom of Linakashan will be measured in relation to this and in relation to that. So in relation to this and in relation to that, thus Vietnam has been created into the transmission of the map by Trunky and also to transfer the Bora. So to transfer the Bora based upon the inconsistent of the non-Tisana, the next development of Amno will Funsan, the aura in relation to Plexan. So the measurement of Plexan is based upon the transmission of the aura and to produce the karma in relation to Different Dasang. This recession will be measured in relation to the Amphalaka and to be correction in relation to the Thuroko, because the 51 academics return, the result will formulate into Xeon and also Prasata, the depth of the sand. The depth of the sand is based upon the transmission of the aura and to position itself into the complexity of law. So in that way, the mechanism of the law is based upon the transition of sender and to position itself into the compliance of the antibacteria, because the antibacteria is based upon the sasasa and to position itself into the complexity of network. The neighborhood watch is to exciton the Nakoto and to present itself into the translate of data technology, because data technology will help you yourself to identify your availability to transit into professional. So in that way, the fifth religion is the fifth mechanism of medical report and to sansan the element of. So in that way, the fifth development of the telephore, it is the positioning of a law and to sasan the imagini. So red, black mount. Oops. I used to kind of do this when I was a little kid. I love it. Desakashang Mikani Translan. Division Development Ampong. Grid 6. Plexum. In relation to grid 6 plexum, the sasasa of the sun element is to transit the oka and kototo of illegally, because in this padrita, the descent of long. So, anyway, in the third development of Ampa, the Mikiti of law is the intrastar of the third amount of decala and to support the needed in relation to plus, neg. Pizzo, Sun Sound, Conflong, Demata, Cork, Div 6 by Nikanam, Nikanan, Nikanan, Divkas, Boat, Sika, Milky Way. God Controller. The second one of the Velikishi is the allocation of um, illegal sustain and to also confer the element of the next protocol. Because based on the division of TV, Ga, the next dimension is the transition of aura. Because in that way, if there is a subject in relation to the next dimension, the 51 review is to support and income. So 5, 10, 6, 5. Submon, because the calligraphy based upon submon is that the architecture of aplaxy and protrusion in relation to percussion. Because in that way, the development of the next ampelang, we will need to know the code to produce the element of design and to intellect the technology of data color. So in that way, and in this way, the next dimension is the divilum in relation to the hexagon and to confer the igni in relation to the koko kasana kadala, because the negation of menana will develop into the next third party, because in that way the conclusion of aura is to position itself into the complexity of network and also to understand the MNO, because the MNO is based upon the sakathon of thundersalt and to mention the illegal law and to position itself into the congestion unknown. So in that way, the delicacy is to element the concussion and to position itself into the complexity of network. So in that way, if there is an evolution of the symptom, the manifestation is the nakanda of LFC and in relation to the telepacon. Because in that way, the next telecom will be crisis into 1, 6, 10. So in that way, if there is a conflict of noticing in relation to the hibernation, the translator will actually be in relation to Sally Young to position itself into the condition of mythology and to signal into the anti-Pakisam, because the anti-Pakisam is based upon the financial advert to flexen the email subscription and to send the element of boss gate. So in relation to boss gate, the sender would actually transmit itself into the signal of 24 mH and 26 mH in relation to the plexusum and to Sakanan the Ilaka. Because the direction of Anene will be developed into the next walk and to Kufla the law. So the transition in relation to the walk will be the direction of Tasase and to sustain the Bakanam. Because my dad will conclude whatever I said before and to Nakanang. What's OH? Oh, no. Ah, what's OH? So, yeah, anyway, in relation to scale. Oh. So, Gary's mother was on the moon. Scale. What kind of scales? There's heaps of scale. Light scale, weight scale, ruler scale. What other scale is impotency. No, I look like a hamburger, chubby. Who cares? Oh, Creston. I'm Peter Camp. Oh, whatever, tweeting. So anyway, in relation to division to support the Flokong, the trans son would nickname the Messiah in relation to the 50 Da and thunder the bolt of the Blokong. So in that way, if there is a printer in relation to the printing company, the next development of amnesia will work out the Messiah to develop the percussion of a law and to position itself into the water and Kampong, Ichuka, Tasata, and Katisnin. And in so, the resources based upon Ichuka, the megate of law, will pin out the data of the third amount of technology and to position itself into the geogenetist. And in that way, we can also remap the megate of Palakashan based upon our own maturity and to understand the portion of law and to indicate the third aga. So in Echuka, the nickname of textapon, the nickname of a law based upon kung, the nickname is so in that way, the next station is the Malakasa of map and to position the successors of Moses and to income the manufacturer. So in sorry, it's not swear word. So in that way, if there is a Tokoshan, we will reverse the damage question of sustain and twisted segment. What is this? The Z echo. That's what you call it. Eve as Adam. So in this way, the application of the Balakata will actually be torsional into the premises. So in this way, the premises is the cohesion of the transla and to pin out the data of the cohesion of the CPCO30HY, which is the hexaton of this transla and to position itself into Na Topo, which is karma. I think. I don't know. Dalai Lama knows, I don't. But anyway, in relation to the Droshong, the 6, 3, 4, Sun. So in this way, the unlearner is based upon the Tricosant of physics and also to translate the percussion of sustained stability. And in that so, the decussion of Dalaka will be developed into the fifth economy and to Tokokoshan, the foreign sea, Rotron, Roshan. So in that way, the recession will due to a certain amount. So, based upon our Guardia, the position of Toshishinong will point itself into the transmission of the Blokong and also to synthesize the Tokonong. Because in that time, once we have the aura in relation to the third role, then we will develop the application of amnesia and to work out the Tokoshan of Adam in relation to the blockers and to Tokoshan the Igalere. So, Sender 55, Plex, Ta, 5, 3, C, block, key, frame, Essen, and 4, 10, 3, weep, 6, 10, 5, 125, 0 degree. So in that way, the next temptation in relation to our own uh, um, temperature, the solar energy will physically attempt the situation of the black and to second the black. So in that way, the development of the third cell and the third amount of the energizer will be the solar system to be applicant of the planet Neptune. Neptune. So in that way, the Blix system of Neptune is around somewhere based upon the center of the cushion and the genesis of Pacaccia. So in the 1 time, 3 time, 4 time Pacaccia is the negation of the primitive of the parameters and proportional the plexus of Doppler. So in that way, the next dimension of the physical alcohol is the negation of our solar. So within the sun, the negation of the rock hard is the megaton of the cocoa. So our solar panel will be the shogun of the second of the fifth steps. First word is the kotor of. So in that way, the fifth development of the Amtaplan will actually be reduction into the gradation of Transla and to develop the decoction, because the 50 rotation is the beginning of the solar gradation and to reposition the Pakata, because the Nikanton is the Tuktu. Something like that in relation to not Jupiter, don't know. So in that way, the animation to develop the next protocol, we need to know how to develop the blockation of law, sort of. But in that way, when we can confer the element of the next sunburst, we have to recalculate the Newton of CMAC cell law. So in that way, CMAC cell law, the load of the fire is the direction of the fourth. So in that way, equation of the blue. So in that way, the gay, I can spell that, is the direction of Bata and to synthesis the Mogulin. And the Lagiri of Nagatsa and the synthesis of No. So Buddha, is this a cricket antenna? How does it work? So, okay. Parama Blackstone. So in this way, the flocculture of legacy is the development of the bokkosong. So the bokkosong is based upon our next sun element to plakasi the of the bakraka, which is the dushon of Dutch. Don't you have a song back in the past? So in that way, the principle based upon the transcendence of the Greek Orthodox is to control the Tikakta. So the nickname of Balakale is the flexation of a lukwa and to develop the Bukanam. So the third amount of Groshashana is the recursion of Alekele and to position itself into the complexity of the network and the organon of Balaka. So in that time, the legacy of the Tata is to Jesus. Well, don't know. So in that way, the next emblemo will actually be Dalasai into the third Tama and to develop the next Partasasist and to Sakalang the Jasantaton. Because Delo Kodi Desha Desamanang. Delo Distino Correction Tata Dorokotan Dutundo. Delo Besolong. Sorry. Split code. Did you know back the 2018 good leg back? Doroko. Sergeant number Dilaka 6-3. Diligan San Funchinta. Ah, and Mikini. Dilaka Funtinson Tokaton. Nina Gono. And go here. Yeah. So, Sue. Bishop. Archangel. Coding encryption. T T T T K H T T T K H F 10 key 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 roll ta summum access T T T T T T T T T T T T T da T T T T T T T T T T T T T T T T T Du poker the pan, the Drakaba. The could be the Kuchina. You know, clearly. Third rock, solid sun. See? Blackropo play carriere. Diroshan tanana. Dichotab sedang kroshan. Delikatan sanakatisi tanan. Balaka karichishin. Dichokong tanana. Dijakatata krifshan. Delakachangkang langkang. Diwakashangkang tata. Dinikatichi tala. Olokakashang taha. Dirokon. Nakarsantam. Bilang. Difi. Communicate. Darakstan. Dibata. Jisam. Nibale. Minukoto. Dinsankan. Fung. Nili. Balakaka. Duf. Bilishesa. Bitusukatsasanam. Dilekiki. Darasano. Midon. Dishanto. Didikatachin Karsataka. Delay. Kachata Saka. Dalakashantam. Yade. Dirichu. Dikotabo. Nebangan. Supernova.